He was only a boy when the world he knew began to crack. Hakeem Jeffries watched as his uncle, Leonard, the man he admired most, was pulled into a storm that would scar their family forever. To Hakeem, Uncle Leonard was a hero, a professor who spoke with fire about justice, a man who stood tall when others stayed silent. But heroes are not always celebrated. Sometimes, they are destroyed. The attacks came suddenly, sharp as knives. Newspapers splashed his uncle's name across front pages, twisting his words until they sounded like poison. Television pundits mocked him. Politicians demanded he be silenced. Once respected, Leonard became an outcast. His lectures were cut short. Invitations stopped coming. Friends disappeared. And in a matter of months, his proud image was broken, left in pieces for the world to trample. At home, Hakeem saw the weight of it all. The family gatherings grew quiet. His parents whispered late into the night, trying to make sense of the cruelty. He remembered the sadness in his uncle's eyes, the way a man who once carried himself like a lion now walked as if the air itself was heavy. For a child, it was more than painful, it was unforgettable. The whispers reached Hakeem, too. At school, classmates repeated the headlines. On the streets of Brooklyn, neighbors questioned the Jeffries name. Hakeem, once proud of being his uncle's nephew, now carried the sting of shame that was never his to bear. And though he was young, he felt it deeply. The system had not only punished his uncle, it had punished the whole family. This was his sad awakening. Racism was not just in history books. Injustice was not a distant story. It lived inside his home. It wounded someone he loved. It wounded him. Many would have turned bitter. Many would have chosen silence. But for Hakeem, that heartbreak became fuel. He promised himself, in those quiet nights, that he would never allow his uncle's story to be the final word. If Leonard's voice had been silenced, then his own voice would rise stronger, louder, impossible to erase. Years passed. The boy became a man, and the man stepped into politics. But even as he walked the halls of Congress, dressed in sharp suits and standing before cameras, the memory of those painful days in Brooklyn never left him. Every time he rose to speak, he remembered his uncle's fall. Every time he spoke of justice, he spoke for the child who once sat in silence, watching his family suffer under a storm they did not deserve. The wound never healed. It lived in him, shaping every step of his journey. But out of that wound came strength. Out of sadness came resolve. And out of his uncle's broken story came Hakeem Jeffries' unshakable mission, to fight for truth, to protect the powerless, and to make sure no voice, especially the voice of the Black community, would ever again be silenced so easily.
Whose inspiring story of politician would you like to hear next? Tell us in the comments below.